back to this Real America's Voice news break. I'm Terrence Bates. If you have elderly parents or family members, you definitely want to listen up. In fact, the topic that we're going to discuss could apply to you as well, whether you're 22 or 89 years old. It's home title theft and fraud. Recent cases in New York have seen victims be elderly homeowners, but as my next guest will attest, crooks are willing to take advantage of anyone at any age. Investigative reporter John Summers joining us. John, always good to see you. These cases out of New York are pretty frightening these days.
Likewise, Terrence, great to see you too, sir. Yes, this one is especially insidious because it involves an attorney in Manhattan who set up estates plans and trusts and so on for his clients, most of whom were elderly. But during the process, Terrence, he would transfer the title or deed to their home into his name without them knowing it. And then he was able to leverage that property to take out loans or even sell it. But here's the kicker. He did it to his wife's grandfather, who was put into a home, a nursing home, and needed his house to be able to take care of him while he was in the nursing home, and then pass on the residual to his relatives. The attorney took his home without him knowing it. Well, in New York now, it is a crime, title theft or deed theft. And this attorney was arrested. He was tried. He was convicted, found guilty, and now he is in prison. But usually this is not the process, Terrence. Usually the crook gets away with it, and nobody knows about it until it's way too late.
Are you seeing a move from coast to coast? Obviously, we're talking about cases specific to New York, but are you seeing any moves from coast to coast where states are trying to protect potential victims on the front end? Because the reality is he had access to information that allowed him to victimize people.
That's correct, Terrence. There is now kind of an awakening that this is a real crime, although most states consider it civil. And then you have to go through the court system and hire an attorney, and it takes sometimes years, and sometimes the original owner of the home actually gets evicted. It's a terrible crime, and the elderly are especially vulnerable, but it can happen to anybody, anywhere. And there are crime syndicates out there all around the world that can do this. It's very, very easy to do. In the old days, you would go down to the county clerk's office and transfer the paperwork, and usually they wouldn't ask. But now with AI and the internet and so on, you can get a notary stamp off the internet. It's very easy to do remotely. And boy, I tell you what, you're a sitting duck out there. And it doesn't have to be your home. It can be open property. It can be Airbnb. It can be an apartment complex, whatever. They're all up for grabs.
Wow. And that's where home title lock comes in. If the states aren't necessarily going to protect you or aren't prepared to protect you at this point, you have to protect yourself.
Exactly, Terrence, and this company you just mentioned, Home Title Lock, they are the pioneers in the industry. I've done a lot of research on this. These folks are the best, and here's what they do that none of the other services do, at least as thorough as they do. They will monitor your title 24/7. You can't do that possibly, even if you took a mattress down to the clerk's office and checked every 5 minutes. It's impossible to be able to prevent this crime unless you have a monitoring system that can monitor it 24/7. Then they alert you if there's something fishy going on. And then if for some reason the title actually gets transferred, they will work with you up to $1 million to restore it so that you don't have to go through the court system. They handle all of this for you. Home Title Lock. And by the way, just go on their website, Terrence, check it out for yourself. There's a 30-day free trial. They will do a scan on your house. And I think we have a code for them. I believe it's Newsbreak.
That's correct.
Just go on there and check it out. Do your own due diligence. Don't take my word for it. But you need to protect yourself. It's very inexpensive, and it's peace of mind.
Always good to talk to you, my friend. Again, that promo code that you just mentioned there, folks, Newsbreak, NEWSBREAK. Go to HometitleLock.com for a free trial and the title history report, and use that promo code Newsbreak.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play. Farms to the factories, from small towns to city streets. This is the fight for the soul of our nation.
We're watching Democrats attack democracy. Do not be fooled.
The strength, the grit, the greatness of the American spirit, all right here.
The left wanted power, not peace, but there's a resistance rising. A generation saying enough, enough. We've tried it their way, and it failed.
The Steve Gruber Show with your host, Steve Gruber, starts right now.
We go on another big day here, the Steve Gruber Show, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. We try to find the truth so you can decide for yourself, all right? Give you all the facts and have the right people shoulder to shoulder with as we go into this unpredictable future. Let's get it rolling. A lot of big things to cover. Three big things. Number one, in Canada, just as I told you would happen, young people are being put to death because they're not perfect. The maid laws, suicide laws, we'll talk about that. Number two, the average tax refund checks booming, up more than 11% over last year. That's all because of the big, beautiful bill. And number three, very serious topic. At least 2 people were killed, 3 more injured in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, after a gunman opened fire on his own family members at a youth hockey game earlier this week. You heard the story. The incident took place just miles away from Brown University, where 2 students died at the hands of a Portuguese gunman 2 months ago. And the state's governor has issued a statement on the tragedy. Here's something. Listen.
Our state is grieving, again. As governor, a parent, and a former coach, my heart breaks for the victims, families, and everyone impacted by the devastating shooting at Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. I am deeply grateful for the first responders, hospital staff, mental health workers, RIPTA drivers, and everyone who responded quickly and bravely. I want to talk to the families out there right now. Too many Rhode Islanders know what it feels like to lose a loved one, a neighbor, or a friend to gun violence.
There it is.
And a tragedy like this is incredibly difficult for people of any age to
there
process.
It is. Gun violence, predictably, the phrase they use whenever they talk about such a thing. But I'm going to argue that there's something very different at play here that he, of course, wouldn't mention because he's a Democrat. Trans violence, transgender violence, transgender murder. The mainstream outlets aren't using the term transgender to describe the shooter, but this is what they are saying. Listen to this.
So what I can say right now that we have identified the person, the suspect, by a birth name. The birth name was Robert Dorgan. We have also learned that the person does go by the name of Roberta, also uses a last name of Esposito. But again, that will be all confirmed throughout the course of the investigation as to their status. That really doesn't have anything to do with the investigation.
Robert, who became Roberta, went through a sex change operation in 2020. And CBS says that it has court records that show gender identity was the very center of this tragedy. Here it is.
New details about a deadly mass shooting during a high school hockey game in Rhode Island. Officials say 2 adults were killed and 3 others were critically hurt. And what police are calling a targeted attack Monday after a family dispute. Our Rhode Island affiliate, WPRI, obtained court records showing that the shooter had a history of conflicts with family, some involving the shooter's gender identity. Police say the shooter died at the scene of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The investigation is ongoing.
Yeah, Robert Dorgan, or as he called himself, Roberto Esposito, was a man with mental health problems, clearly. He should never have had access to a firearm. Rhode Island has strict red flag laws in place for firearm ownership, but they didn't work. They failed, and now you already know that the discussion is going to slide. It's going to slide right toward how can we take more guns away. We need stronger red flag laws. We need stronger laws. How about you look at the transgender issue? Half the country refuses to acknowledge the truth about the epidemic of transgender violence. If you search transgender violence on your computer, like the one here, your search engine of choice, you'll be flooded with responses on violence against transgenders. They'll classify using the wrong pronouns as violence. Words are violence. No, they're not. Getting punched in the mouth is violence. Keep that clear. But you won't find much about the violence actually being committed by transgenders, the actual murders of real people, innocent people. This is the graph that they want you to see, with only one transgender man labeled a mass shooter between the years of 1996 and 2024. It's a lie. That's not only not a misrepresentation of the data, it's a lie, a blatant lie. Let's take a look at just the last few years. Here are just a few examples I was able to find. 2018, Snochia Mosley was a 26-year-old woman pretending to be a man. She killed 4 people at a Rite Aid distribution center, Aberdeen, Maryland. 2019, Maya McKinney, who identified as Alec, killed 4 of her classmates at a Denver high school because they didn't accept her gender identity. 2022, the shooter who killed 5 people in a gay bar in Colorado Springs identified as non-binary and used they-them pronouns. 2023, 3 precious kids, 3 of their teachers at the Covenant School in Nashville, killed by a woman who identified as a transgender man. Another transgender, Robin Westman, wanted to identify as a woman in 2025, and he killed an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, injuring dozens of others. We could go on. We know that one of Trump's would-be assassins, Thomas Crooks, was obsessed with gender ideology. The same goes for Charlie Kirk's assassin, who lived with a transgender partner. And then even just last week, at Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia, Canada, an 18-year-old high school dropout, another guy identifying as a female, committed the second worst mass school shooting in Canada's history. After killing his own mother and a sibling at home first, he killed 9 at the school, last count. 35 people gunned down altogether, but Canadian authorities were focused on not misgendering the killer. That was their priority. Listen.
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay. And then separately, do you know the gun person's relationship to the
gun person? Gun person. The reality is that there is a terrifying link between violence, actual violence, not words, actual violence, like mass shootings and transgender ideology. According to this graph, a trans person is anywhere from 4 to 10 times more likely to commit a mass attack compared to other demographics. And I think the reason is pretty simple. Up until very recently, transsexualism or gender identity disorder or gender dysphoria, whatever you want to call it, were classified in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5. Because that's what it is, a mental disorder. Should be treated as such. If you have compassion for someone with gender dysphoria, that's something that should be understood and treated, not accepted as reality and coddled, and then made worse by chopping off various body parts and injecting mentally unstable people with a cocktail of hormones and SSRIs and other powerful drugs. The pattern is clear here, folks. The violence, the death, and the silence from the mainstream media. Not here. We're here to tell you the truth. It's ugly. It's painful. It's unfortunate. Help people. Don't ignore them. but don't embrace the fantasy either. We'll take a break and be right back.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
There's a light I've always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer, in the moments I'm afraid. There's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky, when I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience anytime. So just go to angel.com/RAV and join there.
Hi, I'm Bridgie. And why do I love RAV? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
When the bacon wants real facts and figures, he goes to RAV.
And, do you ever sit here and wonder how we ever got to this point? How did we ever get to the point that we sit here and debate how many genders there are, men, women, so on and so forth? There were no transgender people when I grew up because it hadn't been pushed out there by TikTok yet, I guess. It's one of the reasons President Trump won in 2024. He refused to go along with the madness. Listen to this.
No matter how many surgeries you have or chemicals you inject, if you're born with male DNA in every cell of your body, you can never become a woman. You're not going to be a woman.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Trump's words are considered a type of violence by the pro-trans crowd, while they deny that there's a problem with the kinds of people that they encouraged in their insanity to do insane things like shoot up their family members. The guy murdered his ex-wife, murdered one of his own sons there at that hockey game. And then guns get blamed instead of the people who pull the triggers. The Rhode Island shooter's daughter says that her father was a very sick man. Man. I guess she wasn't worried about the pronouns, just the carnage. Listen.
She described that shooting suspect as her father. She came out of the police department behind me here in tears after presumably being interviewed by police. My father was a shooter. What happened? He shot my family. And he's dead now.
What was the reasoning? Was there a family argument?
He has mental health issues. So yes, she goes on to describe those mental health issues a little bit more. She says that he had been struggling with mental health for quite some time. She said, quote, he was very sick.
He was very sick. The mainstream media will paint over the gender identity issue of her father, of the shooter, because it doesn't fit into the narrative that they want to peddle. And why do they want to peddle that? It's been also confusing for me. They'll cover it up. Or even worse, like in Canada, they'll run a piece instead on how it's really the trans-identifying individuals who have it so bad in this world. Here's an example.
On a talk online tying the shooter's gender identity to the tragedy, all of it playing into a narrative harmful to the transgender community. CTV's Heather Wright explores that side of the story.
As news of Tuesday's school shooting in Tumbler Ridge broke and details began to emerge, Dee McWaters says her heart sank for the victims, for their families, and for the transgender community.
It was like, oh no, you know what? People are going to use this to weaponize hate.
Even before the shooter's identity was confirmed by police, people were taking to the internet with allegations that gender identity was to blame. There is an epidemic of transgender violence spreading across the West, BC MLA Tara Armstrong wrote on X. Elon Musk also shared a number of tweets claiming that trans people are more likely to carry out mass shootings. Armstrong has not responded to our request for comment, but for members of the trans community, there is a worry these statements will lead to further marginalization.
This has nothing to do with ideologies, politics, being transgender. It's a mental health issue.
Oh, it is a mental health issue. At least he got that right. It was a he, right? I'm not sure. Close, but not quite, because being convinced that you were born in the wrong body suggests there's probably something unhealthy in your mental state in the first place. But you keep running stories like these, and often people become convinced that they're the victim, even when there's no evidence to suggest that. Olympic figure skater Amber Glenn is representing the United States in Milan this month. She's made a big to-do about coming out as pansexual. What does that mean? Here she is.
Yeah, it's been a hard time for the community overall under this administration. It isn't the first time that we've had to come together as a community and try and fight for our human rights. And now especially, it's not just affecting the queer community, but many other communities. And I think that we are able to support each other in a way that we didn't have to before, and because of that, it's made us a lot stronger. I hope I can use my platform and my voice throughout these games to try and...
Well, what is she talking about, hard times? She's competing on the world stage at the Olympics. She hasn't been denied a single opportunity for being queer, as she put it. The Trump administration didn't bar her from representing the United States or take away her freedom of speech so she can sit there and rip on them. But the queer victim mentality and narrative goes on. It will continue to persist. Even there, somebody using those words on the world stage, criticizing Donald Trump. She's not going to be arrested when she gets home. She's not going to be put in jail. You see, affirming the mental illness of gender identity disorders has its consequences. They're costly ones, as we saw in Pawtucket. Meanwhile, those with the disorder, like this transgender activist, think we're the psychotic ones. Real quick, play this.
In case y'all are wondering what psychosis looks like. Ultra mega girl. Yes, queen, I love when I don't have rights. I want to go back into the... Yes, queen, please. So stupid. You disgust me.
Yep, there you go. they hate free speech, but love their own. I already know there's a bunch of wine moms commenting underneath, so true, because they've been brainwashed by a media machine and a society that has completely departed from the truth. We can dig a little deeper into this narrative. It's not just media bias. It's a coordinated effort from big tech, Hollywood, even schools to push gender ideology as normal when the data that we shared screams otherwise. Think about it. Kids as young as 8 being told they can choose their gender. Pump full of puberty blockers that wreck their bodies for life. Then we're shocked when mental instability boils over into tragedy. In the Pawtucket case, court documents revealed Dorgan's spiral started with online trans forums where he was egged on to transition without real therapy. That's not compassion. That's experimentation on vulnerable people. Anyhow, we'll get back to all of it in a moment.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
All right, back to it now. I'm going to get this cat out of my throat. You know, too much pet hair, and, it makes your voice go weird. I'm just kidding, of course. It's not pet hair. Here's something odd. Thousands of smoke detectors sold on Amazon recalled due to potential fire hazard. Now, if that's not irony, you're buying the smoke detector to protect yourself against fire, and they caused the fire. The Consumer Product Safety Commission said in a notice that 11,000 Elshome photoelectric 3-pack smoke detector fire alarms. So if you bought anything like that on Amazon, you need to get those checked. They're white circular, just standard old school smoke detectors operated by 9-volt batteries. Sold from February of 2024 through December of 2025. So just recently they stopped selling these. About $30. Discard the smoke alarms in the trash, or maybe in the dumpster if they cause fires. No injuries or incidents associated with recalled products have been reported so far, but when your smoke detector can burn down the house, well, that's a bit of an irony now, isn't it? This segment proudly sponsored by PuroClean's Veterans Initiative, PuroVet program, where veterans find purpose in property restoration and entrepreneurship. We salute those who have served. 855-PuroVet or purovet.com. Remember, the brand new Forgotten America podcast, the new episode went up this week. You can find it on YouTube. Steve Gruber, the place to go on YouTube. Become a subscriber. Always click the, smash the like button. Don't just push it, slap it. All the programs can be found there. The community is growing. It's live right now. We are on YouTube. So good morning, folks on YouTube. That community growing every day. We appreciate it. You should join. A lot of people in there to discuss the day's events. Some you'll agree with, some you won't. It's called America. It's called the First Amendment. Something we look forward to is, hearing from different people about their opinions. All right, so coming up next, we've got Mark Beckman, CEO of DMA United, producer of Melania. Well, we're going to talk about that coming up, all right? It is the Steve Gruber Show.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
Followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience.
All right, so, it's interesting. You read the reviews from the professional reviewers about the movie Melania, right? And they're terrible, of course. Just what you would expect from Hollywood. It's awful, terrible film. Then you hear from the people that went and saw the movie. They love it. And it's rocking it. And it's doing really well in the theaters, by the way. Mark Beckman is here, CEO of DMA United, producer of Melania, and Mrs. Trump's senior advisor and agent for more than 25 years. Mark, thank you for being here.
Steve, it's great to see you. How are you?
Well, look, people that are seeing this movie, I've seen the people, they love it. Now, but the critics, man, they're just ripping it, of course. So there's this great divide of critics who, well, what did you expect them to say, Mark, to be honest with you? But for people that see it in the movies, they're really enjoying it, aren't they?
Well, that's what we care about. So we are thrilled that the movie went to #1 highest opening for a film, for a documentary film in 14 years. And we're thrilled about how the fans are rating the film. So there's something called a cinema score. It's very rare for a film to receive the highest score, an A, and we received that, like Avatar received an A. And as it relates to the popcorn meter, out of a potential score of 100, fans rated, we received a 99. And that's what we care about. That's what we did. We made the film for people to go and enjoy. And this is an amazing visual. and sonic experience that tells a story, a historic story that's never been told before. So that's all we care about. The reviewers who are leading with ideology and in many cases not even seeing the film, and I could see that they haven't seen it because they're writing, picking up from other articles and all. They could go take a hike. I could care less.
Yeah, but the people. What is the movie? Tell us about this. And what are we seeing? What's the subject matter for people that haven't seen it? Because it's still in theaters, and you say the best place to see it is in theaters because of the cinematography and everything that you did and brought into the artistic part of this movie is important to see it in theater if you can. What are we going to see?
For sure. So the First Lady, Melania Trump, wanted to create a film specifically for people to immerse themselves in theaters. So we don't have any immediate plans to go streaming. Now is the time to go into theaters. And what you're going to experience is unprecedented access to Melania Trump's life. We follow her for the 20 days leading up to the United States presidential inauguration. We look at her family, her business, her philanthropy, and how she prepares to put the United States back on the global stage during this incredible time in Washington, D.C. She opens her lens, this very private, selective person opens a lens to her life. We look at her relationship with the president, with her son, with her father. We look at big issues like security. How does the first family prepare and maintain a certain level of safety coming right off of 2 assassination attempts of President Trump? We look at issues like this that haven't been seen before, and then we take the audience into locations, Steve, that are incredible. So into the White House residence on the first night where President Trump and Melania Trump are living in the White House again, into the Blair House, into Mar-a-Lago. So we see people, geopolitics, security. This isn't a woman's film. This is for everybody. We see people, we see meetings, and we see locations that we've never been able to access before.
Yeah, you know, Melania Trump involved in stopping, in efforts to stop child trafficking, human trafficking in this world, which is a horrible crime. And that's going to play a role in this midterm election cycle. What do you think I mean, you've known her for a long time. What is her role as we head towards these midterm elections, which are always, election years, even off year elections or midterm elections are difficult? And I don't see her a lot on the campaign trail, but I see her out there some. Where does she plug into such a thing?
Well, she's evolving the role of First Lady. In the past year, she's gone from being a typical First Lady that's hosting, important events for our nation, state dinners, family events like the Easter egg roll, into an action-oriented office, an action-oriented East Wing. So she has created new legislation which protects American children with the Take It Down Act. She has created a new executive order that protects foster care children in the United States called the Fostering the Future Executive Order. But on the international stage, she's done incredible things too. So she led the way for 3 reunifications of Ukrainian and Russian children with their families, 3. And if you think about it, Steve, it's really interesting because it's probably the most progress as it relates to that war that we've seen, substantive, tangible progress. We see the Europeans just putting more money and more weapons into supporting Ukraine. I understand that. I get it. But, as it relates to progress on the peace front, it's only been Melania Trump who's been successful there. And then moving back to the United States, she's been leading this charge with our children, K through 12, to educate them in artificial intelligence. In fact, just a few weeks ago, she had 2,000 schools in the United States participate in an AI workshop that she co-hosted with Zoom's CEO, Eric Yuan. And it's incredible. She's got the presidential AI challenge that she launched and she's overseeing. We have applicants now from all 50 states, plus Puerto Rico and D.C. So she's really changing the role of a first lady in the United States of America.
Yeah, man, what a schedule. I mean, you see the president, of course, because everybody wants to ask him a question about whatever the topic of the day is, or 2 or 3. But she sounds like she has a packed calendar as well, the way you describe it. She's hustling every day. We just don't see it because she's not the president, right?
Well, Steve, it's an interesting thing, right? We're living in a day and age where those who are the loudest control the narrative. But Melania Trump really is the essence of soft power. In a way, if you look back at the way the royals were, where behind the scenes they were quiet, dignified, but being very impactful. And that's what you see here. You see a person who is balancing her family life with her career, watching out for the American people, family, children, and she's doing an incredible job at it.
There you go. The movie is Melania. Just jump online, find it at a theater near you before it goes away, because Mark says it's a great experience and no plans to stream it at this point. So really appreciate it, Mark. And congratulations. A cinema score of an A, a popcorn rating of 99. Critics that don't see the movies, that write about movies, we have a word for that. We call that a fraud, just for the record. So it is. Mark, always good to talk to you, my friend.
Great to see you. Thank you so much.
There you go. And man, a couple of people I know that have seen the movie just think it's the best. Just thought it was just great. So tip my hat. You know, doing documentaries, which I've done a few. It's hard to do. I haven't done it on that scale. If I had a budget like that, woo, look out, world. But Melania, fascinating individual to me too. You know, it's a fascinating human story as well. Coming up, we're going to talk to Dr. Ben Tapper here on the program, Director of Epigenetics at the Wellness Company. Don't go anywhere. It's the Steve Gruber Show.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access. Plus, commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
Always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now on Angel. It's perfect for the entire family and has memorable music. So once you join the Angel Guild, you can start watching Young David right now and prepare the fam for the David film in theaters in December. And by joining the Guild, you'll guarantee 2 free tickets to see it. And it's a great value. Let's be honest, going to the movies isn't all that cheap. But if you're a member of the Angel Guild, not only do you get those 2 free tickets to David, but you'll now have access to every single film or TV series on Angel at your convenience.
Let's jump right back into it now. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday whose mother died last week from cancer. He believes it was related to the COVID vaccine. He believes it was a turbo cancer, but cancer nonetheless. It affects everyone. And, you know, everybody knows somebody, right? I was diagnosed when I was 17, came through it. Thankfully, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this program this morning. But prevention, better than treatment, I think. Dr. Ben Tapper, Director of Epigenetics at the Wellness Company, joining me now. Doctor, nice to see you this morning.
Steve, good morning.
Yeah, the long finger of cancer touches everybody. And as we mentioned last week, February is National Cancer Prevention Awareness Month. I saw a stunning number recently that the vast majority of cancers are not genetic, but lifestyle or environmental factors. Like my friend's mom, he believes it was an environmental factor. There it is. How do we protect ourselves?
Yeah, well, Steve, we have to understand, we have to look at cancer differently. It is a real epidemic right now. 600,000 people die of cancer every single year in this country. It is a real issue. And, the medical establishment say, oh, it's idiopathic. We have no idea the cause. But really, when it boils down to looking at cancer and the causal factors, it's always lifestyle acquired. I mean, we're told that we're sick because of bad genes, bad germs, or bad luck, and that's just bad science. And the reality of the situation is that some cancers, like maybe a very, very small percentage, can be genetic related, but most certainly it's going to be lifestyle acquired disease.
I got a new doctor 3-4 years ago. First thing she asked me when I got to know her, do you eat highly processed meat? No, I don't. I really don't. But it was her first question. And I see the Make America Healthy Again movement saying, look, all this highly processed food, not good for you. You got to eat real food. You got to have real water intake. You got to do what your mom said, honestly. Don't smoke. Pretty simple stuff, isn't it, doctor?
Right. It's everything's lifestyle related. I mean, our choices make, they have consequences. Every choice that we make is either leading us towards health and wellness or sickness and disease. And really the choice is ours. Every choice you make has an end result. You are either feeding disease or you're feeding wellness, and the choice is yours. So we have to look at good lifestyle choices. We must eat well, move well, think well, pray well, and we can be well. And really it's that simple.
Yeah. Pray well. That was a good one. You slipped that in there. I like that. Yeah. What environmental factors, what are some things that you avoid that you don't want to be around? Some things that are out there that people can be cognizant of?
Well, first off, we spray, I think, 280 million pounds of glyphosate every year on our soil. Glyphosate is a known carcinogen, Steve, and it's a highly toxic material. So, we spray it on most of our, commercialized farming grounds. So I try to, get good water. That's step one, get good water. And then I know my farmer. I know where my food is coming from. I try to buy organic foods. I try to get away from the nutritionally bankrupt foods. I don't eat fast foods. I mean, our food is designed to look better, smell better, taste better, but it's nutritionally bankrupt.
That's right.
We must get good foods and good nutrition. That's step one. Everything is always toxicity and deficiency. We need to move away from that into purity and sufficiency, and we do that by making good lifestyle choices and getting good foods in the body.
Yeah, I mean, they spend time in labs trying to figure out how much sugar, how much salt, how much to do it, so we can make them want another burger, another chip, another whatever it is. I want to talk about this product called Shield from the Wellness Company. It's a new product. It's to help prevent cancer. It's helped to insulate us against that, to block out some of that environment. Tell me what Shield will do for me.
Yep, Shield's not going to cure cancer, but it's going to definitely help combat it and prevent it. Benjamin Franklin said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And again, we have more stress now than ever before, and cancer has been linked to high stress. But this Shield product it's a new product that hit the market. It was specifically formulated by Dr. Victory herself, who actually defeated cancer. So these ingredients are specifically designed to really help the body combat stress, and especially from a toxicity standpoint. Going away from from toxicity and deficiency into purity and sufficiency. The Shield product will do that for you. There's in here, it's a dual delivery system. So you have a capsulation, and then you also have a powder that goes into a drink. But there's turmeric in here, and turmeric, there's a mountain of literature that talks about turmeric and its benefits of combating cancer. So Shield is a phenomenal product that hit the market, and it's really something that everybody should have on their shelf.
I appreciate that. You know, I remember the day I was told I had cancer. That day, it'll change your life. Really will. I came through it a long time ago. I hope others do as well. But cancer touches everybody. And doctor, getting Shield, anything that can help increase the odds of preventing that day coming for you is always worth the time. Dr. Ben Tapper, always appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Steve. God bless.
God bless you. Now, as he mentioned, February is National Cancer Prevention Awareness Month. So now, more than ever, we need to be asking what each of us can do to lower our chances of cancer. He said 600,000 people in this country die of cancer every year. If you or a loved one is battling cancer, we need to make sure that no stone is left unturned in the effort to stay healthy. And that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know the Wellness Company, people like Dr. Ben Tapper, of course, that are on here all the time. Kelly Victory, who just beat cancer. Dr. Peter McCullough. We like this team. The Wellness Company and its doctors are medical professionals that you can trust. The Wellness Company is committed to providing safe, low-cost alternatives to Big Pharma, from ivermectin to methylene blue to their fantastic new product, Shield, that we were just talking about. So much more. The Wellness Company gives you the opportunity to make the promise of the Make America Healthy Again movement a reality for you and your family. This February, let's take control of our health, shall we? I do it every single day. Of course, Ivy chases me around the kitchen with vitamins. It's quite a sight to see. For you, all you need to do is go to twc.health/Gruber. twc.health/Gruber. You'll save 10%, by the way, using the promo code Gruber. You get all the great products, including my favorite, which I reach over and show you, which are these wellness kits. I think these are great. I do. Medical emergency kit right there. Anyhow, great company, great partners, people that believe in freedom. They were the ones, by the way, back during COVID, people like Ben Tapper, Peter McCullough, Kelly Victory, they're the ones getting silenced on social media for having the guts to tell the truth about it all. Anyhow, we did too. We'll take a break and be right back. It is the Steve Gruber Show.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring audiences across the nation. Angel Studios presents.
I'm Bo Davidson with this Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Most people know the biblical story of David, the shepherd boy who fought Goliath and became king. Well, Angel Studios has created a new animated film called David that tells the story of Israel's greatest king.
Always followed when I'm looking for the way, when I'm searching for the answer. In the moments I'm afraid, there's a whisper in the wind and a story in the sky. When I'm looking for a lantern to illuminate the night. If you want the secret of freedom and feeling alive, you gotta follow the light. Follow the light.
For those who love great animated classics like The Lion King and Prince of Egypt, David is an awe-inspiring animated musical that depicts David as a spirited boy who fought lions, giants, and even betrayal, depicting how one boy's faith could lead him to be king of Israel. David will be released in theaters just in time for Christmas on December 19th, but your family can get a head start by watching the prequel to the film, Young David, which is streaming exclusively right now.
All right, so Nancy Guthrie's still missing. What are we, 18 days in or whatever? I don't think it ends well. But so Megyn Kelly, who I enjoy listening to, I do some. I don't listen to many podcasts. People ask me, who do you listen to? Look, dude, I work so much. Ivy and I work so much. We listen to some if we're traveling, you know. We'll listen to some different things. The Elon Musk biography most recently, which is fascinating, by the way. But so Megyn Kelly here. Listening to Mostly What God Does was a book written by Savannah Guthrie, 2024. In the book, Megyn Kelly shares this on her X account, describes a childhood kidnapping game her older cousin would orchestrate, complete with secrecy and early morning escape and a fake call home saying, Mom, Cousin Terry kidnapped us. Now you fast forward. Nancy Guthrie actually has been kidnapped. Same theme, same family, same city. At what point does a coincidence stop being a coincidence? At what point do you say, what is going on with this Guthrie case? And was Savannah Guthrie's husband in the Epstein files as claimed by numerous people on social media? Is there some nefarious connection there? I'm not saying there is. I'm asking the question. And by the way, we're going to talk a little bit more about that coming up later. Ivy's been reading through what she can stomach in the Epstein files. I mean, it's just, I cannot even imagine what they're seeing in this. And here's the thing, by the way, why do members of Congress get to see the whole unfiltered, unredacted truth? Show it to all of us. Somebody needs to go to prison for raping children. Stop trying to worry about, Donald Trump's name in there and get to the people that actually perpetrated crimes against children and throw some handcuffs on them. Where's Pam Bondi? Throw some handcuffs on these people. Hold some people accountable. Some of these emails are basically confessions. Get to it. All right, I'm done for a moment. The program continues 2 more hours. You can catch it on YouTube and all the streaming platforms, of course. This is The Steve Gruber Show.
Real America's Voice is growing, and now it's all in one place. Introducing the new and improved RAV app, built for access, community, and choice, not paywalls. Here's the key. RAV is still free to watch. No sign-in, no membership required. Your favorite live streams, breaking coverage, and video on demand are all right there. Free, just like always.
For the War Room Posse, we have to be a force multiplier on this. We have to stick the landing.
In the White House, in the Oval Office, you're crushing it, my friend.
And if you want more, the members section is your backstage pass. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, insider moments from the studio and the field, and early access to new content before it goes public. Members can also unlock special experiences like virtual meet and greets, member-only auctions, and select event access, plus commercial-free viewing of certain shows inside the app. It's not just an app, it's a community. Download the RAV app today. Find it in the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome to Real America's Voice, Real Minute. Your quick look at the powerful stories of faith and freedom, inspiring